All right, good morning and welcome everyone. This is going to be a segment on law of attraction and dedicating a little bit of time to sharing some ideas as far as preparation goes. Law of attraction fits right in with that preparation scheme. Um, Basically, what in life, you set out your budgets and you plan for time and you do your scheduling. And this is all you doing physical things to sort of organize things that are going to happen in life. So you pack a spare tire because the eventuality of having a flat tire, or you write things down because you picture yourself not having milk and you want to make sure that doesn't happen. So, law of attraction essentially is a mental method of preparing yourself for things you want to happen and avoiding things that you don't want to happen. So, basically, what we're able to do is we have two faculties of our brain, which is the subconscious and the conscious. Now, we already know the subconscious part of our brain is a lot more powerful and capable than our conscious brain. It can do more stuff, right? And so we want to load our subconscious brain up with a bunch of very positive, welcoming, totally open to ideas. Okay, so you could kind of go down through your social media feed at any given time, and you can pick apart the people who are using positive language that are trying to adopt and welcome things into their life, and then you could tell people are just asking for trouble. Okay, so just take a couple seconds while you're watching this video, pop open Facebook or Twitter, go down the list, and you'll be able to tell the people who don't have an idea that the law of attraction is a thing because of the things and the words that they use. So if you say, I am always sick, right? You say those words out loud, okay? You're saying them out loud. It does nothing, okay? But your brain hears them. Your brain takes cues from you, your behaviors, your speech, how you conduct yourself. Your brain hears you, and it starts to make preparations. You have to think of it. Your life is nothing but a bunch of branches, right? Decision branches. So there are possibilities that can happen in your future that all you can either make a really linear bridge to, like a straight line to something. So if, let's just say, I do nothing and I just bop around and let things randomly happen, we're going to assume the world around us is just a random place that, you're really not in control of a whole lot. And then you have a guy that says, I'm going to put $10 in a jar every day for 365 days, right? That guy's regimented. And you can get to a guy who did not put $10 in a jar for 365 days. You can get to 365 days and ask the two of them, you say, hey, how much money do you have? And he's going to say $3,650, right? And the other guy is going to look at him and say, well, how the heck did that happen, right? Because the random guy doesn't have a jar and he doesn't have money, and he looks at the guy who sort of did a linear thing over the course of time with an outcome that is attractive to him, but he doesn't think that's a possibility. He doesn't think that's something that it can happen. So if you think of the speech and the language and the behaviors that you use, if you do something silly like set out a jar and put $10 in it, there's an outcome down the road that you can connect yourself with. Now that linear one, that is completely, there's no abstract to it. That is as concrete as you can get. That is a money calculation. You cannot argue with the math on it. That's what's just going to happen if he follows his own behaviors. Well, the same thing happens in the mind, where if you set up a certain set of behaviors, like if I woke up every morning and if I said, I love my today's going to be an awesome day. I love waking up in the morning and getting started on the work that I do, right? The first 4 or 5 days, right? I'm not going to believe that that's true. Just like I'm not going to believe and say, I'm putting $10 in this jar. There's really not going to be $3,650 in there, right? So, as you go through time and you don't stop getting yourself in the way, you stop disbelieving the things that you're going to say, you're saying. You're only going to say stuff that you know that is, number one, physically possible. We're not asking for things that mathematically don't make sense. You know that you can do those things. Half of the things that you tell yourself you can't do, all right, you are right. All right? Because if you thought they were true, You'd be saying that you can do them, and then you'd be doing them. All right. And so this is not like magic. There's nothing mystical about this. This is basically conditioning your brain to do the things that you want to have done and eliminating the reasons and the disbelief and the cynicism that is stopping you from doing those things. And that's really what ends up happening. This is sort of like a self-fulfilling prophecy. You start with small things, you use the law of attraction, you use your language, you use your behaviors to start accomplishing things, and then you start having belief in yourself that you can do those things. And so the things you start asking the law of attraction for, you start being able to be, or you start becoming more capable so that you can start providing those things for you and yourself. So it's a conditioning process. If you go throughout your day telling yourself all the things that you're afraid of that are going to happen, all you're doing is you're doing the same exact thing that I'm suggesting doing, right? You are setting yourself up for bad things to happen by connecting your subconscious mind with what's about to occur in your life. And then you start filling in that narrative as they start happening. You notice a itch in your throat and, yep, I'm sick, right? And then your body and your mind responds. So the language is about half of what it is that you're doing. The behaviors is the other half. And this is probably the hardest thing I have to convince people of, is to start behaving like those things occur, right? Because if this is where it gets kind of abstract. If you behave differently than what you say, so I'm going to get in shape, right? You say those words, but if someone watches you through your day and you had 19 opportunities to do something that would get you in shape and you pass on them, that's a behavior that says your body doesn't believe that you want to get in shape. So, if I say, hey, you know what, I want to start getting in shape, and I park to the furthest parking spot in the parking lot when I go shopping, right? Or I take the stairs instead of the escalator, right? Those are behaviors that are in conjunction with what I verbalized. I want to be healthier, right? And then my behavior is go eat a Twinkie. That is not a behavior that satisfies the language, right? Those two have to be connected. And so use the people you know in the examples of what they're saying and doing. And I want basically all you is, okay, so let's just pretend all of these people had a magic wand that they can grant the wish of their words. Look through those feeds and use those feeds to say, what are these people granting themselves? What are these people setting up in front of themselves? If you see people say, I'm sick, or I'm lonely, or I don't have any money, or, life is terrible, right? Think of that wish and saying, your wish is my command, and you're making that possible. So this is for all of us who say, okay, this doesn't cost me anything to believe in this. This doesn't cost me anything to change my behaviors in this. I'm basically going to tell myself things that I want to happen, and I'm going to act like I have those things, like I'm already participating in the outcome that I'm asking for. That's it. There's no magic spells. There's no, anything. Now, you can't, like, these regiments usually start with small things until you believe them long enough so that they're a real thing, and then they become part of who you are. So I have these routines where, just like I organize my finances, I also organize my thoughts. All right? So I know what I want to think about today. And if I explain that statement to 10 people, they think I'm a little nuts, right? Who organizes thoughts? Thoughts are just random things you have throughout your day. Not me. I know what I want to be thinking about today. I know what gets me excited every day. I know what gets me out of bed every day. I know what lets me sleep peacefully at night. So if I'm going to organize myself in my finances, I'm going to organize myself in my schedule, because when I do that, guess what happens in my finances and my schedule? It happens exactly most of the time what I put on paper, right? So there's no perfection in it. So there are days where I put a schedule together and 75% of the stuff happens, or I put a budget together and sometimes things change, okay? But that's not a reason not to do it. My budget is better than the person that did nothing at all. The guy that put $10 in a jar over the course of 365 days, if he skips 4 days, and then you look at him and say, well, you only have, $3,550. That's not even worth doing. I'll take my jar of $0. Ha ha ha, right? Well, that doesn't even make sense. So you can see how this, you put together your own processes of how you want to organize you. But all it is this is an acknowledgement that this thing exists. You attract the thoughts that you put into your head. You're in control of the thoughts that you put in your head. You're in control of your behaviors. You're in control of, what you do that day and how you believe in it. So you're going to find yourself being a more optimistic person. So when those branches of linear thinking are happening and you start pruning off the negative branches that all they take you to is despair and fear and whatever, and then you trim those off so you don't go down that road. You're a happier person because you've trimmed those branches. Now, this is the one thing that happens over and over again, and I don't know why. It's the human condition, is that normal people who don't believe in this will fight for those branches, those negative branches, over the positive branches. And I don't know why. I don't know why that those things are so attractive to people. But you will say, they will defend it and say, well, I am a realist. I am an acknowledger of real things, right? And those people eventually, you know, maybe they come around, maybe they don't. But you out there are watching this video because you're interested in attracting good things to your life, attracting things that you want to your life, attracting positive things to your life. You're in control of this stuff. So we're going to set these segments aside and help you along the way. So if you have any, you see the text message number below this video. Text me any of your questions. I will coach you through law of attraction. And so if you have, you know, weird things that, you know, weird hangups that I don't cover here, this is your way of getting in touch with me, and I will be sure to answer your questions during this. I implement and use law of attraction every single day of my life. In my family, I insist that that's the language that we use around our house. And it's really tough when someone comes across us that isn't using law of attraction. I will try to advocate and try to help that person by stopping them and say, do you understand the law of attraction and what you just set yourself up for? When you say, I can't catch a break, or I never win the lottery, or I never find a parking space, or all that kind of stuff, what you're setting yourself up for. And while I go through, you know, and these are just regular people who I can understand when someone pitches something like that, that's a hard, you know, that's a hard conversation to have. But all of you out there who are really interested in this and want to know how to do this better, feel free, send me your messages and I will help you through it. Have a fantastic day, guys. Keep yourself organized. Keep your thoughts the way that they should. Come back here tomorrow and we will do this again. Have a great one.